We are continuing now with Psalm 54. For the leader, with instrumental music, a maskil of David when the Ziphites came and told Saul, "No, David is in hiding among us." O God, deliver me by your name, by your power vindicate me. O God, hear my prayer. Give ear to the words of my mouth. For strangers have risen against me, and ruthless men seek my life. They are unmindful of God. Selah. See, God is my helper, the Lord is my support. He will repay the evil of my watchful foes. By your faithfulness, destroy them. Then I will offer you a freewill sacrifice. I will praise your name, Lord, for it is good, for it has saved me from my foes, and let me gaze triumphant upon my enemies. This is a very brief psalm of only 9 lines. To put it into context, the psalm begins with a reference to an episode in the book of Samuel, the first book of Samuel, one of a number of instances where David, who has been divinely anointed king by Samuel, but is not yet in reality king because Saul continues to hold on to the crown, even though this is against the will of God. But Saul refuses to give up the throne. So David is continuing to traverse the land and continue to collect a retinue of followers and to gain strength, while at the same time trying his best to elude Saul because he knows that Saul is set to kill him. So David has to continually move from place to place in order to flee from Saul and from Saul's wrath. Saul, ever since he lost the divine right of kingship, has been afflicted with a kind of a mental disease, a mental illness of severe paranoia and some delusional kinds of behaviors. But at the same time, there is a reason to his madness. He has every right to fear David because he knows that David is lying in wait to become the next king. So Saul is fearful, but the psalmist imagines putting himself into David's shoes here. He imagines that David is also fearful. He imagines that David thinks that if Saul catches him, Saul will kill him. But David doesn't want to kill Saul because he knows that Samuel has anointed Saul as king earlier on, and David refuses to kill the Lord's anointed. So the advantage is in Saul's hands militarily, and David knows that if Saul catches him, Saul will kill him, all the while knowing, David does, that he does not feel capable of killing Saul himself. So he is afraid of being caught, and he prays to God to deliver him and to vindicate him. He relies upon God for support. He does not rely on his own devices and his own wiles, even though they are formidable, but he knows that if anyone or anything is going to save him, it is going to be the power and the force and the support of God, God's self, who is the only one who will be able to save David. He says, Hine Elohim ozer li, see, God is my helper. Adonai besomche nafshi, God is my support. And the word nafshi in Hebrew comes from the word nefesh, meaning soul or life. Essentially what he's saying is, I know that on my own I can't save my own life. I have to rely on God to save my soul and to save my life. Put yourself for a moment in the position of one who feels pursued. The psalmist imagines himself as one who is feeling constantly chased after. How does it feel to be pursued? To wake up every day and wonder, will whatever or whomever is pursuing me will catch me today, or will I be caught tomorrow? One of the, I think, key and most common pursuers that many of us have to deal with in our lives has to do with illness and disease. God willing, if we are healthy, we are able to live each day with an awareness of our health and without a constant worry about getting sick. In the age of COVID-19, many of us do have to contend with a measure of fear and anxiety concerning whether or not this virus will catch up with us. It is pursuing us. It will catch some of us. Hopefully, it will spare most of us, but we do not have full control over it. We have some ability to maintain standards of safety, and we have the ability to avoid getting ourselves into situations where we are maximally exposed. But at the same time, this virus has a mind of its own, and we don't know if its pursuit of us will eventually catch up with us. It's okay to be aware of that fear. Fear is a feeling that comes and goes. It is better if we can be mindful of it and then realize that it is a temporary feeling that can catch up with us for a moment, but then quickly fade away if we replace it with another feeling and with another train of thought. And that is certainly in our power to do. But in the end, we rely upon God for our support. God is my help. God is my support. How do I access that strength? How do I gain some kind of access to that measure of support from God? The standard ways, of course, are through prayer. And prayer doesn't have to be formal, even though in my case and many of my cohort, we believe in the power and value of communal prayer and of traditional Jewish prayer. But you can pray in any way that works for you. If traditional worship doesn't work for you, find other ways to pray. Find ways to communicate with God and issue and express thoughts and feelings of gratitude and thanks, as well as knowing how and when to ask God for support and for strength. Meditation is also useful, taking some time each day to take some deep breaths, to sit quietly, to listen to your inner breath, and to focus your awareness on your breath, which is the flow and pulse of your individual soul and spirit that lives and breathes within us each and every day. Turn to other people to speak with. Know when to turn to friends or family or clergy or counselors for additional support and help. In that sense, these supporters are representatives or angels of God who are here to render us the kind of backing that we need to keep on going throughout this crisis. Thank God we have support, and thank you, God, for the support that you give us. and thank you for listening. Shalom.